Hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. It's basically, I'm hopefully that things are going the way they should be. All right, let's see what we got now. All right, pop out the chat. Well, hello there, Curly Express. Thank you for coming in. All right. Well, one thing let's see about trying today. I'm assuming people can hear this. Is bacon, eggs, and over easy fried taters in the bacon grease and cornbread muffins on the side. You really know how to make somebody hungry, real artist. But yeah, one thing I decided to try this particular one is very, hopefully very subtle, is background music. It's let's see if I can find what it is. It's basically the acoustic cinematic of one of the basically of StreamYard's normal, I guess, free stuff. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a long one tonight. This is the second week in a row that I've been only working only 40-hour work week. But I have my body hasn't recovered from working all the 50-hour work weeks yet. And I believe tonight, let me double check with this. I believe tonight, let's see. All right. I want to say tonight is Sidetrack Sunday, I believe, is False Bailey Railroad again. Because it was one of those things of because of tax season and all that. The first one was not available for I think it's False Belly because I remember seeing that. Somewhere, but of course, now that I want to actually want to quote unquote find this, I can't find it. So I guess okay. I guess I'm not finding it then. Okay, I guess we'll go that direction. No, this is what we want. Sorry about that. but I believe it's Rick again. All right. See, I should actually watch the chat and things the answers come around and all that. So, all right. Well, one things that I'm showing tonight is I wound up winning I want to say 500 subscriber special from Dan's Model Railroading Journey. Now the interesting thing is that all the prizes that he had were not, nothing that I can technically use. Mainly because I was put on for the one for N scale because it looked like not many people were looking for N scale. So I was like, yeah, we'll put Happy Valley on that. And so I have won 3 things of N scale, which I'll show tonight. It's not really an unboxing because it's already been boxed and all that. It had a slight challenge of coming here because I went and said, I work at shipping and receiving at my company. Might as well send it that way. Then got an email message from Dan saying that according to UPS, you don't exist. But I'm like, I don't have access to the UPS post office box. I mean, we do exist, but we do. UPS is a post office box, not the actual address. So that's why we don't exist. But it's like it was basically barely fit into my mailbox, so I had a slight trouble trying to get it out of the mailbox because I really stuffed it in there. But it's one of those things of it's nothing that I can technically use, but I am thinking of maybe I'll turn around and use it for a practicing on weathering, and maybe not. It's also out of my era, so it's also one of those things of not necessarily try to destroy it. I've recently I've recently been acquainted to I think it's N-Scale Boy, I think. Apparently he's also local. He belongs to the same NRA division that I do. And so it's one of those things of maybe, it's like not quite sure. I'm not quite sure of his era, but I know he does Penn Central stuff. So it's like that might be the era for what I have. There are 2 buildings and 1 car. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure, but one of the pins for the car have been wound up disappearing. But it might be the first project for the lathe. Maybe I'm not quite sure. I know Dan he considers himself very shy and doesn't really want to do live streams, but I guess I'm inspiring him to eventually take that plunge. So Dan, if you're showing up, I would say go for it. One thing about doing stuff live is that sometimes you can prepare for everything, but until you do go live, you don't know if it's going to work. With editing and stuff like that, you can edit stuff out and all that. But if you have technical difficulties, you won't discover them until you go live. So I would have to say the first maybe 2, 3 might not go off as planned as you want, but it's one of those things that then you'll learn, go, oh, I need to have this setting this way or this setting that way or along those lines. So I would have to say, if you're listening, Dan, maybe the first, there is the possibility the first 2 or 3 live streams you do, something will go wrong. I would have to say that's not necessarily what will happen. I mean, you might do your first live stream, and it can be perfect. You won't know until you try. And that's one of the things that I'm doing with my with the dioramas and stuff that I'm doing, is practicing before I actually put it onto the actual layout. Because I want to making sure that I've got my technique down before putting it together. And so, speaking of putting it together, let's switch cameras. No, switch cameras, not stop them. All right. And that's another thing, is that you wonder where you get to learn where the appropriate buttons are, which ones not to touch, and all that fun stuff. All right. But I want to say this community, YouTube community, is very supportive. If you ask, they might give you, suggestions on how to do things better. Yeah, it's one of the things that he does give a nice letter and all that. Maybe one day he'll take the leap and all that, but in the meantime, he's just got Joe the shows. But also, he knows in that era, maybe some parts will fit not the layout. Yeah, as I said, I think I might use these more as practice pieces. One of the things I also wound up getting is, stickers. Dan's Vermont Railroad Journey. And then from there, here is one of the buildings that I have gotten. It's pre-assembled, super detailed. Let's see. Let's slowly pull this out. With the door and all that, I didn't really have to look at it, but this is the 7401 passenger station. And what it shows, all right. How does one take it out of here? It's a little more complicated than I thought, I guess. I don't want to really rip this apart, but that's what it is. Everything is painted. There's As you can see, there are people there. There is a vehicle. It's not in the parking spot, but so you can see that's also one way. But it does not lay flat, so this must have been in some place where it was hot. So we might have to turn around and put on something hot so it can turn around and remelt that. But I want to say it does look like a early 70s automobile. So the next thing is the 7106 coaling station. So this is something that I guess it could be also in the 70s. It hadn't, not quite torn down yet. There we go. There's the coaling station. It looks like it might have the same issue of not being able to take it off. Not sure if it's taped down there or glued, because it is not coming off this thing. But this could be, I have to say, probably redesigned, so it's showing that it's really rusted and not quite falling down, because coaling towers would be, unless it's filling up, this would be more like filling up locomotives, not necessarily rail cars. So this could be turned around and weathered pretty much a lot, and then make it look like hasn't been torn down yet, but probably will eventually. And then last but not least is Walther's N-scale freight car. Now the interesting thing is that you can tell that it's been pretty much sun bleached in through here, because the window is there. Now the rear truck on this is missing the little pin, and it looks like I just lost didn't lost it, I dropped the sorry about this. There we go. Yeah, I wound up dropping the roof walk, because apparently the roof walk wasn't solidly put on here. It's also missing the pin for the rear truck. So I might use the lathe and actually make a pin for this, so I can work that way. And then also see about possibly weathering that. As you can see, this is much smaller. But interesting thing is, since I'm doing the 1876, actually N-scale, I'm using N-scale track for the rails. So I am sort of kind of using N scale stuff already. But it's like, yeah, I'm using N scale rail with S scale clearances. So I'm basically going above and below with stuff. So right now, let's see. We just take So thank you very much, Dan, and all that. I'll try to find a creative use for these. So let's see, got that way, that out of the way, this over here, that over there. All right, so we got those out of the way for now. So I guess we'll swing. Again, thank you, Dan. Hello there, Anthony Dodge. Thank you for coming in. Same thing with the Joe Raider and Grandpa Warrells. Thank you for coming in. I know, Anthony. You have a hard time, getting away from your adoring family. But as you can see, I wound up winning from Dan's model railroad journey. Those 4 pieces of N scale, which is it's not my scale, but also not my era. So my plans are possibly just using practicing for like weathering and stuff like that. What I'm actually doing is 1876. And last week I stained some ties and inadvertently also stained the wood, but eventually that's going to be covered up. Wound up going to Home Depot today to get the interesting thing is this piece of wood, which I got from work because there is a cabinet maker. This is pretty much what I need. This is the right size and all that. But as you can see, it's pretty, very, very rough. So I wound up going to Home Depot to get something a lot more smoother, a lot more straighter. I'm assuming straight. It's Home Depot. It's not quite straight. But it's a little long. It's a little thick. So I got to figure out a way to figure out how to still use this. Obviously, that's you sell it by the foot, and I need 2.5 feet, so I gotta chop that off, probably off camera. And it's also 1/8 of an inch too thick, so I might have to when I lay down the cork, probably using these 3x5 cards, to add that extra thickness. All right, how much? Now that I got everything here, let's see how many cards do I need. Let's see, there's another card. Think about that much would do it. Actually, probably the smart thing to do is actually use the cork instead of this. This is the correct size what I'm aiming for, but ooh, took the evening off. So I'm assuming the moving of the sun was a success, Anthony. All right, let's use the cork. Yeah, it's a lot more thicker than I was expecting. Yeah, much thicker. So if I keep this up, I might have to get more 3x5 cards. All right. Actually, I just realized that this would not be absolutely correct because I got to put ties on the cork. So we got to figure out how many. All right, let's put some ties. Then we'll have the correct thickness because the cork is going to be all, ties, the whole balsa and everything. But this particular one, since this is going to be part of the selector plate, it does not really need details, which also includes the not only not needing ballast, but also not even really needing ties. Sort of what the selector plate is going to look like, pretty much what I got for the test track. Just have it gauged 6 foot wide and lots of super glue. So that's what the selector plate will look like. That, and then the rest of the track that's going to be in view will have all the appropriate things. So, all right, so that's gonna. First, gotta get the ties in the right position because they are not perfectly square. They're actually rectangular. So, as you can see, I got them also stained differently, so they're a little bit more random in the colors. Okay, those are now all flat the same. I'm up against that. Now I should know approximately how many 3x5 cards I need. And get away with taking off. Can I get away with taking off one? Yeah, one more. All right, that's going to be the correct thickness between the two. Oh wow, that's a lot of cards. But then again, this is I believe 7/16, and what I needed was let's see, 7/8. So wait a second, that can't be right. It's 7/8. Let's get the digital calipers out. Zero. Fraction. 1332. 1/64. Let's go the other direction. Three eighths. All right. So this is 3/8 instead of the. That's interesting. That's supposed to be 3/8 also. And that is not. Somehow measured them incorrectly. Because they are definitely not same thickness. So I must have measured something quite wrong. But this was the thinnest that they had. So this is the thinnest we're going to go then. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. All right, 3. Go this direction. 6. 9. 12. That looks like 15. Yep, 15. All right, so it's 15. 15 to go from 1/4-inch cork road bed with ties to just having it set up where it's directly on the selector plate. I also have to chop off another. I believe it's 3 inches to get back to the original size. Now with 32 inches, that is basically the length of my longest locomotive that I'm going to use, which is the Sierra number 300 scale locomotive, and the Mantua. I believe these are 36 inch or 36 foot cars, and use that as the inglenook that I'm building. The standard, I believe it's the original standard of 533, using a for the back end, a combine car, for the quote backstop, basically. And the idea is have the I believe within just out of frame would be the end, where the selector plate's going to be. Maybe actually farther down, I think. And the layout is going to be called pointless, because instead of having switches and a point with points, it's going to have the selector plate. So selector plate with one line here, and then the yard area. It's going to have a small gauntlet track, and then it would spread out where the rail yard's going to be, and probably using a Motrack Models small little shed here. The story I've come up with is that basically, the main line went through, and somebody local wanted to have a freight yard here, because what they had, they couldn't get it. They couldn't have a spur off to where their location was, where the mill was. So they wanted a yard for their stuff to be put on here, and they definitely overestimated how much they needed, because they're expecting growth and all that stuff. So that's why they went with, they were thinking about 6 boxcars a day. Never got to that point. However, since everything was all built, there was an industry a little bit farther away, but instead of they were doing certain like a boxcar or 2 a day. But the thing is that since this yard was already there, this was used for their overflow and all that fun stuff. That's what I'm going with. But yeah, it's going to be sort of shadow box style. Also today, I also bought an appropriate. I only needed one, but had to buy a packet of 10. So for the pivot point for the selector plate. But all right. So all right. So now all right. I did the show and tell earlier for the prize that I won. All right. Now we'll take the stained ties and put them aside. Actually, that's one thing I forgot to buy was double-sided tape. Oh well. It's one of those things of, same thing with the cork. I know I have it around here, but can I find it? No. I think it's a common problem with sometimes with anyone that has hobbies similar to this, is that they wind up buying extra stuff and all that because they can't, they don't, not quite as organized as they should have. So, let's get the Western boxcars relatively out of the way. Now I got a setup for this. Also, for this particular area, I did wind up going to the local hobby shop and actually bought one of these. The interesting thing is that this fiddle yard is going to have a wooden one, and I'm thinking, for the quote main line, have steel one, or not steel ones, but stone ones. But right now, we shall concentrate on the main line. See how that's going to wind up going. Now, this was what I was thinking of for the quote gauntlet track, and spreading out to here, figuring out what, how this is going to be set up where things won't be fouled up. But all right, that's one of the things that well, I haven't been very good at lately is, keeping my eye on the live chat because the monitor is that away. So when I'm looking here, I still have to remember to look that away so I can actually look at the chat. So it's a good thing that your son has been uh, mostly been moved in, Anthony. All right, so let's move these out of the way. Actually, let's say we take 2 clean ones off. Actually, 3 clean ones off. And replace them. Ooh, looks like we might have a 4th, possibly a 5th. Let's put let's turn around and replace clean ones with dirty ones. And one of the things that probably will have to do is do actually do 2. Yeah, it's not quite 1/4 inch, but have to do sort of a ramp in both, 2 ramps, one for the main line, one for the yard. All right. So it looks like this little section, if I'm getting this correctly, all right. Yeah, it looks like this is going to require a little bit more thinking that I was originally planning for. This is what my original plan is going to be. This I have not determined exactly where these are going to go, but I figured out, pretty much what this is going to be. Figured out that this the selector plate, or well, it's not really a plate, but the selector is going to be 32 inches long, which makes this 40. And then of course, the one locomotive, 5 cars, and then the either caboose and or combine would be here, limiting the length. And then this would be for 3 cars, and then associated buildings and all that fun stuff. And then this would be like a I don't want to say mountain, but it would definitely be, even a large hill would have it set up where it could use as a barrier. This would actually it would have the hill a little bit out here to sort of hide the entrance to here, so that's one less portal to have, but then still have a hill on this side, so the portal would go in that way. But as you can see, it's very, very not much room. But this is going to be sort of like a little shadow box. And it's basically one of those things that get there one piece at a time. And sometimes you have to break off a little earlier than you wanted to. Yeah, I gotta turn around and chop this down. Take 6 inches off of this. On this end, drill a hole for the head screws, and also onto this board itself to actually make the selector plate. Probably when I cut this, have it as a slight curve to it, sand a slight curve to it. But yeah, I'm thinking that's about. Yeah, it's going to require me to do that off camera, because that requires me to go look for the power tools, which I do have around. It's just that I have to actually look for them. Also, I have to turn around and buy some more Code 55, because I thought I had more, but I do not. It's probably one of those things that it's probably missing. So let me switch cameras. Let the overhead bench camera bounce a little bit. And we'll switch over to this camera. All right, I'm going to have to, tonight, cut it off a little short than normal, because I normally go to 15 of the hour, mainly because to give people the chance to use the bathroom and etc. Before they go to Sidetrack Sunday, which tonight, from my understanding, is going to be False Bailey Railroad again, because the first week is normally John from Skokill Valley Railroad. However, it's tax season, and it's one of those things that I thought he was retired, but he still does consulting, I guess, and all that stuff. So he's pretty busy right now. So Rick took the first week and apparently the third week. So I will see everyone there. I believe the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Goodbye.